Good morning. Yes, a very good morning indeed, because I am in the process of making breakfast. A scrambled egg breakfast burrito, so nothing too difficult or fancy. Uh, putting the eggs in scramble mode because I also left the yolk in. I do have egg whites, but I wanted a little bit more calories today, at least for breakfast, so I can properly wake myself up before heading out to the gym. No fasted cardio this morning, but there is still going to be cardio, obviously. Today's a hard cardio day, so going to be about 30 minutes on the step mill. It's also leg day, and that's going to be fun. I want to make sure I have as much energy as possible for leg day, especially since I'm trying to work on my leg strength more so than just the aesthetics of them.
And yes, I am very much still in my PJs. Still on the cusp of waking up. I did wake up a little bit earlier. I played a little bit more of that Bastion game. I'm realizing now how much eggs are not actually in 3 whole eggs. But this should be fine. So, these bad boys are singing. But I'm going to keep cooking these, put these on a wrap, add a little bit of hot sauce, and munch this down and make my pre-workout. So, let's start the day.
So, fun fact, I actually have more egg than I thought I did. I have enough for 2 wraps. I'm using a carb control spinach wrap for these, so the calories aren't that high. Like I said, I want to make sure I have enough in me right now, so that way I have enough to break down as I'm doing my hard cardio and my leg workout today, because, as I said a little bit earlier, going for strength and aesthetics with my legs now and trying to improve my squat by the end of the year. So hopefully these taste as good as they look, and I'm going to get that pre-workout made. I'm also going to I might make this for breakfast too, or I might just save this for after the workout. I'm not sure yet, but we'll wait and see. I'll catch you guys in a little bit. So I am now in my car again, getting ready to go to the gym. And no, I didn't do the whole thing again where, I open the door, come inside to get a mildly cool looking shot, because I don't want to risk the camera falling over 3 times just to get a mildly cool shot. And fun fact, this is being held up by a supplement container, not by an actual tripod, because I lost my mini tripod and I can't find one anywhere. Maybe I really have to look closer at Walmart or Target or even Best Buy, or maybe I just have to go online to buy one. Either way, I'm going to get a replacement for that, and hopefully that holds the camera up better than a supplement can. But the one thing pretty cool before I got into the car was I was actually talking to my roommate about the inspiration for pioneers. Now, what I mean by pioneers is the pioneers of bodybuilding, music, martial arts even. Everyone has inspiration from somewhere. We were talking about with the Beatles, them being inspired by Buddy Holly and the Crickets. Arnold Schwarzenegger being inspired by Reg Park, and Bruce Lee getting training from the Ip Man. In that with the Ip Man, there's an exception, and there's been a couple movies about Buddy Holly, but with the Ip Man movies, they're definitely more, I think fabricated. I don't know how true they are. They're very fantastical. They're more inspired by the person who created Bruce Lee, as opposed to actually being factual recounts of what his life was. Maybe they were. I don't know. I haven't researched the Ip Man enough. But when it comes to Buddy Holly, we do have a lot of stories told about him. We do have movies based on him. We even have him having a cameo in the Richie Valens movie. Not the real Buddy Holly, obviously, but, someone playing him. And there was even a Gary Busey movie, I think, that he played Buddy Holly in, and I heard that was pretty good. I heard it wasn't the most accurate, but they said the acting was fine. I still have to see it, though, because I'm a huge fan of Buddy Holly and the Crickets, by the way. And we were kind of talking about how there is a little bit of air of mystery to the inspiration for the pioneers, and I think that's what makes them a little bit cooler. With Reg Park, I would love to see more official documentaries about him, more books written about him. obviously not like a flood of them where it's like kind of like park exploitation, what a sentence, but more so that just getting to know about him a little bit better, because what's more interesting than learning about the people who inspired the people who made these things genuinely popular? Truly, like, unfortunately though, I think Reg Park, he's been gone for a while now, and I'm pretty sure that the only person who would know the most about him is Arnold Schwarzenegger. And that might be a fun little pseudo documentary for someone to make, or not pseudo documentary. Like I said, I would like to see an official documentary about Reg Park, maybe by even the Generation Iron people, if they ever get around to if they could possibly make something like that. So that way we can get like actual behind the scenes of who Reg Park was, what his inspirations were for. Because could you imagine that? Like, obviously there were bodybuilders, like bodybuilding technically dates back to like the early or late 1800s. And I can't remember the gentleman's name, but you all know who I'm talking about, who was considered the first bodybuilder. He was like, and I don't know if anything inspired him or if it was just kind of a case of like, he thought lifting which was fun. I think I remember when I was reading through the Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding, it was more a case of he saw what it was making his body look like, so he just continued to do it. I think that's all his inspiration was. But to get a little bit more detail about Reg Park, about the Ip Man, about Buddy Holly, I think, however, that might take a little bit of what makes it cool out of it, because to mildly compare it to Lovecraftian or cosmic horror, what makes Lovecraft horror so cool is that how he describes his monsters is they are so terrifying that the human mind cannot comprehend it. That's actually supposed to be what the It monster is from the Stephen King story, is a creature that's not from our dimension even, that is so unbelievably horrifying for us to see that our human minds cannot actually comprehend it. That's why it's supposed to take that spider-like form, because that is the most horrifying thing that the human mind can create for it, really. But its true form, no one has even seen, even though I still have the theory of, I believe the deadlights are its true form. Anyway, I think that is kind of what makes people like Reg Park and the inspirations for pioneers so cool, is that we only have mystery about them. We don't have the full story. It might be cool to learn the full story, but just to kind of be like, I wonder what they were like. I don't know. There's just something fun about that. Anyway, I gotta get to the gym. I'll catch you guys when I get there.
And I started my workout with some cardio on the step mill, got a good sweat in, and warmed up my legs nice and well. Afterwards, I went into the squat rack, and as you can see, the weight is not that high as I am still working on my squat strength. And the recommended way to do this, I was told from someone who's actually helping me out with my strength building, is he said, do a weight you can know for reps and do them much slower. And as you can see here, this is actually not the first set I was doing with this. This is actually a little bit later in. And I did the same thing for back squats, where I went with a weight I know I can do for about 10 reps if I'm just slamming them out. But I wanted to do these more slowly and controlledly, so I went much slower and just did less reps. Following that up with some single leg lunges as opposed to dual leg lunges, which do not exist or technically known as a squat. This really helps me get into my split mobility, so I've been doing these every week and almost every day, not always with the weight. The weight is for the strength building, but I try to do these daily so I never lose that mobility. Next, I like to call these single leg hip thrusts. These actually get the groin area very, very stretched out and open. Not only that, it builds the strength in the leg that's not being stretched out. So it's a good double whammy of mobility and single leg strength. I like doing this every day almost, but mostly for stretching. Now it's time for some split squats, and one thing I really like is that my strength is definitely developing in very specific areas. My overall squat is still not that great yet, but here I'm able to handle much more weight than I was before. I used to be able to just do a single 8 kg kettlebell, but now I'm on two 12 kg kettlebells, 4 reps. And normally you're not doing these for powerlifting sakes anyway, but this again is a good mobility drill for splits, and I love building the strength in these areas as well. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what this is called. This is just something I kind of just started doing because it was mixed in with my mobility drills, but it wasn't this. You're supposed to go all the way down on your knees and then lay down. So I decided, what if I do a pseudo stand up with kettlebells? And you know what? This really does help with the quad strength and really does help me stand up when I'm trying to get off the ground, if I'm on my knees trying to pick up something. This is really, really useful, and I think more people should give it a try if you haven't already. And because I do not want to be a part of Team No Calves, it's time for some calf extensions, and this is how I'm going to be wrapping up the workout. Really, I was starting to feel burned out. I was feeling exhausted. I was feeling tired, and I kind of just wanted to call it for the day. And I had a good pump in my legs overall, and my calves definitely did get a good fresh squeeze doing this. But if I were to do it again, I would have done more calf work as opposed to just at the end, but still a good time. And that leg workout is now completed, and I'm crashing at this point. Not the car, but my body feels like it's starting to crash, which is a shame because it's a gorgeous day out and I want to do stuff around the town. But I might be going to my open studio today to work on some just basic acting stuff. If not, I don't know, probably just sit back, relax, do some stretching a little bit. Because tomorrow is my rest day, so that's going to be fun. I am going to see Looney Tunes tomorrow, though. My friend Will and I were going to go see Looney Tunes in the theater. Probably hang out for a little bit afterwards. I'm not sure, but tomorrow, rest day, solid. Yeah, if you need a confirmation that I'm feeling really exhausted right now. But the workout is wrapped up and gonna go home for a little bit. Open studio is about an hour from where I live, so gonna go home, rest for a little bit, drink a protein shake, debate on whether or not I want to go to the open studio. A lot of that's gonna come down to if my acting coach is even there today. And if she isn't, then I'll just do some more reading and watching this one YouTube channel called Get Taped, as well as just, I don't know, catching up on a movie I haven't seen yet, or doing some stretching, hanging out with my roommate, hanging out with the cat. We'll see what happens. But it's a nice day, so you know what? If my acting coach isn't going to be there, then you know what? I'm probably going to go for a little bit of a walk. I don't know if I'm going to document that as much, but just kind of explore a little bit. Not too much. There's not much around here, but just to kind of check things out, because why not? You got to love the sun when it's here, and it was randomly rainy yesterday out of nowhere, so... But like I sometimes say, you need the rain in order to appreciate the sun, so I'm appreciating it when I see it. Anyways, I'll catch you guys in a little bit. Peace. So I am on my way to my acting class, or open studio, but my coach did give me some scripts to go over, and her and I are going to take care of that. So technically it will be a class, even if it's going to be open to everybody. So we're all going to work together, have some fun, and get some solid results. Now, like I said, the studio is about an hour away, which for me, I'm used to it so much that this is just down the block for me at this point. But the only caveat is these roads kind of suck. Now, this road specifically, not really, but once I get on the actual highway, it's a fiasco. It looks like twisted metal is happening on those roads. That's the kind of situation our roads are like here in this area. But if you want to be the best at something, sometimes you have to do things that make you uncomfortable. And for me, what makes me uncomfortable is driving on roads that are clearly not taken care of. But anyways, I'll catch you guys later. And we are on our way home from class. Now, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, definitely a lot of fun today because they're actually getting ready for a competition coming up, which I didn't know about. I have nothing to do with the competition, obviously. But they let me work in with those who are preparing for that. And I got to sort of share, we'll call it, screen time with them as things were going down. I'm making that sound way more dramatic than it actually was, but I got to be the reader for them. They had their lines that they are supposed to read for their competition, and I read the counter lines, and that was a lot of fun because it gave me the opportunity to react to them, and I wasn't just a reader for them, I was straight up a fellow actor for them in that, so that was a lot of fun. I also got to do some commercial work. I'm going to work on that a little bit more because I like working on commercials. And there was a different coach today. There was two, actually. There's my standard coach, or not standard, but the coach I see the most out of everyone else, and a newer coach who I've only met once, but she apparently knows who I am because apparently she said something about my name is regarded throughout the school. So that's an awesome compliment to hear. Like I said, I want to be one of the best that they've ever seen. So if that's the case, then I'm pretty sure I'm off to a good start. I'm home. And I also got more groceries. Surprising, right? Been getting groceries almost every day this week. Now, it's not because I've been eating a lot or anything like that and I'm just constantly running out of food. It's more that I keep having ideas for recipes, or not really ideas, but I see people posting recipes online and I really want to try them. So I'm just like, yeah, I have to spend the money to do it, but at least I'm learning a new skill and being able to make these things if I ever want to. Now, obviously, I'm not doing this because I want to become a master chef or anything like that. It's more just something that's fun for me to do, and who doesn't like doing fun things? But outside of that, though, getting that compliment saying I'm well regarded within the class, because acting class was fun today, and even though it was more of an open studio than it was in class, they were training for that competition, like I said. And having one of the coaches, who I only met once, say that I'm a well-regarded person within the studio really puts a smile on my face. And they have like pictures of people on their wall of who were their success stories. And I pointed at it and I said, there's like an empty spot there, right? And I said, my face is going to be in that spot there. And you're going to see my picture, me smiling, or a serious face, whatever picture they think is best. And it's going to have Starship Troopers and Power Rangers on it, because those are my goals. I want to be in that Starship Troopers remake. Preferably I want to play Ace, or not really a remake, but a readaptation of the novel. And I want to be a Power Ranger. That is another goal of mine. And obviously, if I can get into one of the Sonic movies, that would be a banger also. But I know what my two main big goals are. So hopefully, if I keep pushing and grinding, I can achieve them. Again, nothing's guaranteed in life, and I don't want to live a world or a life that I'm guaranteed to get everything I want, because where's the fun in that? But at least I'll know I tried and I put my effort in. Anyways, it's late and I gotta make supper and relax a bit. So I'll catch you guys later.